Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It is Wednesday, the 14th of August. I'm Sean Higgs. I'm joined today by Chip Chirimbes, as always, on a Wednesday. And like every Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, we're powered by GamblersWorld.net. GamblersWorld.net, where you can find me, Chip, 11 other top handicappers for all your premium needs. And NFL is back, baby. We got packages up here. $5.99 early bird special. And I'm no genius guy, but if you join today or even in September, take that to the Super Bowl. We're talking about like $25, $30 a week. Not a bad deal considering that probably an average, let's be honest, we'll have like a Monday game, maybe have a Thursday night or Sunday day action Sunday night. There'll be multiple packages that are probably more than $25 a pop. So a great deal, no matter who you get on the site. So be sure to check that out, $5.99. And, of course, the baseball end of season deal is still rolling right now if you want to get down on some baseball. 7:30, 3, 7:30, geez, 3, 7, and 30-day packages, all guaranteed, which means we show you a profit or you get a credit to go back and get a similar package from somebody else if we're not doing a job for you. Again, that's baseball $3.49. NFL early bird $5.99. Go get it. And last but not least, of course, because I may say this multiple times, hit the like button. We want the likes hit because we gotta get the views up. Why not? We get some good comments. People are loving Shipper's thought of the day, trivia of the day, however we want to word it. Not much. Listen, I guess the J.J. McCarthy news kind of.
Wow.
If you thought that guy was going to start, I don't know. I mean. Last year, Chip, I'll tell you, I had a Sam Darnold comeback player of the year ticket when he was on the Niners, thinking, hey, Purdy, at this point, it's July. They talked about Purdy hadn't even thrown the ball yet. So I'm like, this guy's got some elbow problem. Hey, Sam Darnold actually put up some touchdowns on garbage organizations with the Jets of Carolina. Why wouldn't he thrive with the offense that surrounds him and the players around him in San Francisco? Never got a shot. He'll get one here in Minnesota now. What do you think? Does that affect? To me, I thought Minnesota was going to be a good team anyway. So I thought it was the Lions division, and I thought Green Bay would be solid as well. Not high on the Bears. Minnesota, I was kind of I think they might be better with this guy because he's a little more experienced.
Sean, you are talking about Sam Darnold. And I've seen Wilson in New York, and I've seen Darnold in New York, and there isn't that much difference. Though we must say, Darnold has the experience now. He's been around long enough. He's run different offenses for different programs. The Vikings might not be as bad as people think, and McCarthy, of course, would have been a rookie and inexperienced. Though he did finish out his career at Michigan. I mean, he didn't come out after his sophomore year. So him and Bo Nix and Penix are probably the most experienced quarterbacks coming from college into the pros.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Should be interesting for sure. Again, if you're looking to get down on that game this week in Minnesota, obviously that kind of changes things up. But how do you think they're going to probably attack? And we saw on Monday, even yesterday, we talked about a little bit, some of these line moves in this week 2.
Wow.
Big spreads. Totals all jumped up a couple points. Is that because teams are thinking, or the bookmakers kind of have more of an inside wire to the coaches, like we're going to play our starters more? Is it that ridiculous kickoff that gets a couple extra yardages?
Well, Sean, I think Ross and I used to talk about it, and we've said it a number of times. I believe the bookmakers knows more than we do. And when they put a number out on the game, there's a faction out there, the sharp guys that see it and they recognize what's out there and they'll jump on it. And these lines have, in preseason particularly, it can move 3 points and not have the same significance as a 1 point or move in a regular season. But the lines are moving. If you're really sharp, you could be laying 3 and then taking 6.5. So and you could be doing just the opposite as well, taking 6.5 early and then laying 3 late. So it's something that we do, Sean, because we're on it all the time. We see when that opening number comes out, and we see when it fluctuates, when it moves, and we're there. I'd say the common man who's out there, the layperson, they're busy with their life and their work, and that's why we're here. We're here to do that work for them. We do the research, and we come up with the numbers, and it's worked out for us, Sean. And I'm really looking forward to this football season right now. Off to a great start, and I think there's some games this weekend which really stand out. We won't talk about them individually right now, but really feel good about what's going on in the sports handicapping world right now.
Well, maybe we'll do our. We got some baseball today because it's a
Right.
shorter schedule, but maybe we'll talk about those a little bit later in the show. If you want to bring one up after we do our picks, if people want to stick around for a football one, because man, because I want to get your thought process on style of betting like early in NFL season. For me, like I put away last year. No matter what I was betting at the end of last year because of that season and the bankroll were going this way, I always start kind of smaller for regular season. Are my numbers like any kind of game you put out, you think it's going to win, right? You bet it no matter what it is, you think it's going to win. But on the same token, with a start of any kind of season, you want to see where your numbers are going to be. Like, yeah, I feel really good about these 6 games today. I'm 6-0, but until the game goes final, I don't have a win on my thing. So that could be a 2-4 day. It could be 4-2. Then feel good about things. Some people jump like right into crazy. I'm just unloading on games. I don't like because people ask me. I'm like, no. I'll start small because last year doesn't matter.
We need a sample size, Sean. And I'd like to play a conference game of the year almost every week once the season gets rolling. But in September it doesn't happen. We don't do it till the end of September when there's been 2-3 conference games under their belt. And like I said, we have a sample size to evaluate what's going on out there. And I'm excited about this year, particularly in football. I mean, there's some teams out there. I think I learned a lot on the opening week, Sean, of the preseason, just the way some teams approached the game, not necessarily whether they won or lost, just their approach. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for preseason for me, I like to look at the new coaches taking over losing teams.
Sure.
Right? It's all about changing the kind of culture, kind of nonsense, and get some wins under your belt to get some guys excited.
It's not nonsense because it works because they want to win over the local fans. They want to make a good impression with the media. There's a lot of reasons that newborn coaches out there during the preseason are at least the look-see.
Yes. I mean, you got a team playing again. The Niners and Chiefs really don't have to have much impress in week 1 against some guy with a new head coach. And I'm just throwing those 2 teams out because they're in the Super Bowl last year. I don't even remember who they played last week, so don't hold me to that one. I'm just saying from the fact of new coaches, you want to win. Guy just paid you $4 million to take over a team. You came in there and blew smoke up his butt saying, "Yeah, we're gonna be good in the playoffs or something." So you want to make that good impression. And the lines here, the line moves tell you the books agree with some of these thought processes. But that's football. Again, we'll be talking about more of this. We got college coming up next Saturday, but we have some Major League Baseball going for us. So. Again, hit the like button here. Let's get up over the $15,000 mark. That'd be great, $15,000 here.
Yeah,
15,000 subscribers, and check us out on YouTube and Twitter on our handles as well. But Chip, you got the Dodgers and the Brew Crew today. We got a Walker Buehler sighting here, and he's a favorite. He's favored 135 over Montes.
And, I had prepared so much for Jack Flaherty here. I really he's just going to be his 3rd start with the Dodgers, but he's not going to be there. What's Buehler going to do? When's the last time he threw, Sean?
Exactly. June 18th, the last time he threw. Second Tommy John. It figures this guy goes for a second Tommy John. The minute I get a signed auto rookie card of him out of like 25, I'm like, man, Buehler could be the next kind of. Like you look at the pitchers, when we talk baseball, I'm always like, who's going to win 150 games of baseball from now on? Like 150 might be the new 300 wins.
You're so close to being right on with that.
Right. I mean, I'm like, this guy is as good as, and then Strider's another guy who's a 17, and then he goes down. So Buehler could have been on a Cy Young path or a Hall of Fame path. He was putting up good numbers. Two Tommy Johns. The guy's 30 years old. 1 of 4 in the starts. Hey, listen, the fact that the Dodgers are on an 8-2 run, we talked about the D-backs and Padres yesterday. They're on like 9-1 runs. And if the Dodgers slipped up that much, they'd be out of – I just realized they had won that. I was like, wow, these guys are 9-1. I thought the Dodgers were going 4-6 or something. No, they were 8-2 in that stretch.
You're right.
They held on because they somehow managed to stay close.
Dodgers are one of 5 different teams that have, at one time or another, led the major leagues in wins. And they beat Milwaukee 9 of the last 10 times that they've played. Milwaukee is surprising to me. I'll tell you, Sean, they're 15 games over 500.
Yeah.
They're plus $1,200 and more on the year. The Dodgers are plus 22 games and they're minus $900 on the year. So, again, it's evaluating what the bookmaker is giving you and when to take advantage of this. Milwaukee has a nightmare going on in the mound tonight. I think they have Frankie Montas listed, and he's 5-8 this year with a 5.10 ERA. He has pitched for 3 different clubs in the last 14 months, from the Reds, the Yankees, and he just really hasn't been all that effective. Sean, he's been in the major leagues 10 years. He's had 1 winning season where he's won more than 10 games, and he's had a double-digit season, that is. And for a lifetime record, he's 42-43. With Buehler coming off the IL, no longer the deal, I don't see. I see plenty of runs being scored. The Dodgers got Mookie Betts back, and he comes back with a home run. And Ohtani certainly got the range. I mean, sometimes when he makes contact, you just know where the ball's going. So I look for this game to go over the total. Dodgers are about. Well, I saw them $1.30 last night, and I'm surprised the Dodgers are that strong a favorite with a guy coming off the injured list.
I agree.
Against a team that's 15 games over. They're both division leaders, right? I mean, Milwaukee's, but the Brewers just haven't been able to get it done against the Dodgers. 1 win in the last 10 matchups. So I'll go over.
Yeah, you got to go that route. You mentioned Montes, 2 starts here with Milwaukee, 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 Ks, 4 innings, 3 runs, 7 Ks. So he's going to go 5 and give up 3? That sounds about right. I got Buehler working back into form. The Brewers somehow hit because they're 17 games over 500. I'm shocked that somehow they pulled that out, but
I don't know how.
That's more of a reason how watered down the Central is, I think, and not a good division here. Yeah, and Montes, I had a Cy Young on Montes out of the A's after he went the 1 year you talked about. He went 13-9,
right?
And he had a 3.70. I'm like, hey, this guy's pretty good. They don't care about wins anymore. He's a strikeout. He's hurt. He goes to the Yankees. He gets hurt. He's out for a year. I mean,
in his defense, he has been injured. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 games for the Yankees 1 year, comes back for 1 game at the next year. Last year's Cincinnati, this year 19 starts. He goes back to Milwaukee in a trade. I not that the guy's great. I'm not saying he's that good and there's some guy who gets hurt, but he showed some flashes. I mean, you look at his career early on, you're like, this guy is came out with a mid-3 ERA, which is pretty good for baseball standards.
Yeah.
Overall, And guys, I don't like guys get hurt. If he's trash, he's trash. A guy gets hurt, I don't care if it's Mike Trout or Frankie Montes or insert whoever. He was thought of as a highly rated player. The guy gets hurt, and you're like, what could have been? The old what could have been if the guy stays healthy.
I'll tell you what. The thing I was looking to talk about in this game was Flaherty. If he had gotten the start, he's been with 4 teams in the last 14 months. Montes has only been with 3. So, it would have been a checkerboard situation. But Buehler coming back is kind of surprising to me. And it's really going to be interesting to see what he has, Sean.
Listen, I said at the beginning of the year with this Dodger team when there are people saying win 110 games. I'm like, where's the pitching coming from? Yeah. Forget about you got 3 MVPs at the top of the order, and then all right, Will Smith's a pretty above-average catcher, and Muncy and Teoscar are 2 guys you like as a role kind of player, but the rest of the lineup you have to be scratching your head at. And the staff was a bunch of guys. Buehler coming back from injury, Kershaw coming back from injury. They make a deal for Glass now, they're pushing back his starts because he's never pitched a full season. You're bringing in imports. You don't know how he's going to do. You got Goslin and all these Sheenan and Stone, young guys, hurt guys. All 5. The entire staff is 5-inning pitchers.
Where's Goslin? Haven't seen him.
He's hurt. He's done. Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they always have these guys who come up, like Tyler Anderson when he was with them before he went to the Angels. He'd come out of nowhere, go 13-3, but he only go 5+ innings.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, they got Flannery going tomorrow, another injury kind of guy who's, when he's on, he looks great. He looks like an ace. That's why he's like a first-round pick back in the day. But he doesn't stay healthy. They're pushing back Glass now start till Saturday because they could have did that today. They could have ran Flannery out here today and Buehler tomorrow. because they're in Milwaukee tomorrow. This is another game they play here tomorrow in Milwaukee. These two teams, but listen, August baseball juggling a lot of TBDs. That guy TBD, he is everywhere you want to be with the starting pitchers. Speaking of TBDs or could have beens, we went 2-0 yesterday, Chip, in our plays, right? You had the over KC, had the run line San Diego. If only we didn't collapse. I had Delusion the other night in that Milwaukee Dodger game of Kershaw. That was 5-2. Just missed that one. We should be 5-0 on the week, but hey, we'll take a 4-1. We're up $3 here on the video, and
anytime.
Chipper just gave you the over 9, which I tend to agree with here. So let's keep these winners going. I got the Braves and Giants. Now the Braves pulled one out last night. Grant Holmes on the hill.
How did they score? I don't see them scoring any runs.
Yeah, listen, they are 68 and 46 to the under Atlanta. The offense, and I've been saying this since the third. I'm like, because I was on Braves overs early because I just thought the offense was really good. Starting pitchers are good, but you get to that bullpen, it's like, it's not the best thing. You figure a bunch of 7-4 games. I'll go over team total 5.5. Or the start of the season, they're like 3.5, 4.5. They didn't know what to expect, but yeah, totally different team. 3-7. Grant Holmes, reliever now starter. This is what happens when they do this kind of stuff. These teams, whether it's Braves or anybody else, when they bring in a guy to stretch him out, as they say, right? Okay, stretch this guy out, use him as like a spot starter. 3 innings, 3 runs, 2 innings, 3 runs. Then he started getting some starts, and he gave up 1, 3, and 5 runs in those starts. So I look at him, and then San Fran is a team that somehow has put together a little run. They are 3.5 back in the wild card, so they still have some thoughts of playoff hope. I like San Fran here. Even it's Robbie Ray. Speaking of guys coming back from injuries, here's one in his 5th start back. But you look at his numbers over these starts, he's going to give you 5+ innings. He strikes out 7 guys. Here's another guy. The old one could have been, right? Was he didn't he win the Cy Young the one year?
Right?
He has
nasty stuff. He really does. 28 Ks in 20 innings. I mean, that's not bad.
No, yeah. He's got a couple starts back. But in this spot here, I got the Braves. Even though they won, they still dropped 7 to 10. They still got some questionable hittings to me. Or untimely hitting, which is they're such an under squad. The Giants are kind of sparky, not to no expect. I think they can hit Grant Holmes. He's a reliever, spot starter, bullpen guy. Ray, at least he's been effective in his starts back since he's come back off the injuries. You're gonna give me you're gonna get me into the 6th inning, and you're gonna give up a run or two. I'm in the game. Versus a team that's been slumping for well over a month now. So sign me up for some San Francisco here minus. It's about a 112, 150, somewhere in those ranges here. But Robbie Ray at home, I will take a shot. San Fran just 3.5 back in the wild card, fighting for a spot. Braves have been struggling at the dish all season since early April, and really for the last month and a half, they've really had up and down. Although Sell he probably locked up a Cy Young the other night, but
he was great. We had he doesn't give up a walk, strikes out 13, 7 innings. This Grant Holmes pitching for Atlanta has only been in 1 winning game in his last 11 appearances, and that was back against the Yankees on June 21st. So in his relief appearances or his starts, he didn't get decisions, but they lost the game. Atlanta's lost 10 of the 11 times he's been out there. And 3 of the 10 meetings they've had against each other have gone over the total, Sean. But
that's an unlucky charm when you're 1-10 when you enter a game.
Yeah, really. But I'm not quite sure where to go with this game. I think I'd lay it before I take it with San Francisco. But Sean, I have a couple of interesting facts that date back to August 14th throughout baseball history, and I have a trivia question for you as well when we get to the end of this.
All right.
August 14th, 1933, the year of the very first All-Star game at Comiskey Park, Jimmy Fox hit for the cycle and had 9 RBIs. And at that time, that was the American League record for most RBIs in a game. One thing, and I got some interesting things about him, Sean, that you can't believe it. He played 20 years. He had 58 home runs, MVP 3 different times. His lowest batting average was .291, except when the WAR years came, he was at the end of his career. But he was also undefeated as a pitcher with a 1.52 ERA. We talked about Dave DeBusschere having pitched I mean, here you have Jimmy Fox, first base, catcher, third base. He pitched as well, 2 different seasons for the Red Sox and the Philadelphia Phillies, but not the A's, although he played 12 years with the A's. This date, 1937, one of the biggest scoring outputs in doubleheader history. The Tigers beat the St. Louis Browns. And you notice I'll be saying a lot about the St. Louis Browns because they were woeful in these days. They end up being the Baltimore Orioles. Tigers win 16-1 and 20-7. And Sean, the good news is they only used 2 relief pitchers the entire game. In 1939, I know we had a lot of fanfare about Wrigley's first night game, which was rained out, by the way. The Chicago White Sox played the first night game in Chicago at Comiskey, and once again, they beat the St. Louis Browns. In 1961, the Philadelphia Phillies were so happy that the Mets were coming into the league next year because the Mets were going to lose 120. But the Phillies were doing their best to challenge that the season before. On this date, they had lost their 17th straight games to the Cubs, and that was the 11th complete game out of 17 against the Phillies. And we haven't seen 11 complete games the entire season this year. So that's
I say we haven't seen 11 complete games over probably the last 5 years, I don't think.
Right. And Pete Rose in 1982 set the Major League Baseball at-bat record. He passed. Do you remember? Do you know who he passed? Do you remember who he passed?
In 1982 for at-bats?
Yeah. 12,365. He passed Henry Aaron. All right. And in 1987, Mark McGwire hit his 39th home run, rookie record in the American League, on his way to 49. And I have to throw this in, though it's not baseball, because Usain Bolt on this date in 2016 won his 3rd straight 100-meter Olympic gold. Never been done before, once again, in Rio de Janeiro. Now, here's my question to you. Who is Tyler Gilbert?
Tyler Gilbert?
Tyler Gilbert.
Is this a baseball question?
Yes, it is. You're going to love this. Because on this date, today's 3 years ago, he was pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks. In his debut, he pitched a 7-0 no-hitter against San Diego. Where is he? This guy pitched a no-hitter 3 years ago at Chase Field against San Diego. They win 7-0, and I've never heard of him. That's why I threw it at you. I can't even remember that he ever played. Tyler Gilbert. And that was at Chase Field. So that's it for August 14th. And you do have the Atlanta Braves to go down, I think. You have the Niners saver with Robbie Ray, right?
Yeah, the Niners.
Yeah, okay. The Niners. Well, I always transpose those. I'll be calling the Pirates the Steelers all the time. So during the
season, he is apparently he's in the minors right now. Let's see. He pitched last year, 2023. Let me see if he's in the minors this year. 2024 in the minors. He is in the minors, Tyler Gilbert.
So he does exist. It wasn't just a story I was making up.
I guess he was traded because it says he was at AAA Louisville, not AAA Las Vegas, it looks like. So he's 4.
Well, then he's with the A's.
Yeah. 6th-round pick overall. No, he's got a Reds cap on. LHV. Where's LHV? I thought that would be Las Vegas. I could be wrong. Well, wherever he is LHV in the minors. 4-0. 27 relief appearances, 2.06 ERA. He's got 7 saves.
That's great. That's great in minors.
7 saves, 30 innings, 35 hits. He's pitched better than because he was terrible at Louisville. He is.
But when I saw that this guy pitched a no-hitter in his debut, and we don't even know who he is. I mean, come on.
3 years ago. Yeah, his rookie year. He went 2-2, 6 starts, 9 games, 3.15 ERA.
Oh, by the way, about Jimmy Fox.
He's 30.
He entered the major leagues at 17 and went 6 for 9 and played a season at 16 years old in the minor leagues. I just thought I'd throw that at you.
A different time back then.
Yeah.
You know what though? We do see like 16-year-olds getting drafted. Although I think because we have laws now, you can't have like a 16-year-old playing baseball. I think there's some kind of child labor probably. Probably OSHA probably says no to that nowadays. Can't do that. Got with your 18 to come up, which we see a bunch of 17. We do see 17, 18-year-olds now too.
His numbers are overwhelming. He had years. He had 176 RBIs. Jimmy Fox, 158 RBIs, 158 RBIs. Absolutely incredible.
In dead ball errors, right? Those things were like guys didn't put up crazy numbers. This guy drove at 176.
He was comparable to Ruth and Garrick. Actually, I mean, back in those days. I mean, his numbers were just outrageous.
All right, real fast. So do a recap. So Chipper likes over Braves. I got the Giants today. But just heading out, listen, because I want to talk a little football because you'd mentioned something real fast. So maybe
Right.
I'll give you a minute to talk about a game or something you kind of like, or however. But NFL early bird is up $5.99. You don't want to miss out on that. It comes out to, if you get it now or September, average about $25-$30 a week, which is you're not going to beat that deal. Well, we always mentioned get on a longer term package for whatever, like the 3, 7, and 30 days are guaranteed. Season passes are different. But for that price point, when I'll sell a 3-pack of games for $34 or $39 or something, and that's where you're going to get the entire thing for $25-$30 for the entire season. And that's just, I mean, that'll rate out for anybody because it's per game, per unit, however you want to word it. Not a bad deal for $5.99, so check that out. If you just want baseball, that not half price or quarter price, whatever it is, that is still available for $3.49 rest of baseball. And hit the like button as always. But week 2, I said yesterday, a lot of games I like, they have moved. You talked about it off air. I'm like, they've all gone. Right. I don't even know how I'm gonna put a package up. I got to find a game to put up here for the weekend because some of the lines have moved since Monday. But you said you like a couple. You got anything you want to just talk about real fast? Because we really don't do the NFL preseason kind of show. But if you got one that's
I like it. There's a number of games, and particularly in those moves, I think that like I said to you, I think the bookmaker is letting you know that certain teams are not going to be playing their best personnel, and they're making it kind of outstanding for you to see. If you can't see this anomaly, then you really shouldn't even be looking at lines in the first place. But I'm looking forward to this week too. I've always had a preseason game of the year, and I've always used it on the final week. I like this card so much. I may be using my preseason game of the year this week, but I will have some best bet action without a doubt, Sean.
You know, with the removal of the last game, now it's 3 games in preseason or whatever.
Right.
It's kind of tricky to figure out when is or not tricky because we see some of these line moves here. Right. Of who's going to play a guy this week, who's going to play the guy next week, because then all of a sudden there's another bye week before the season starts. So, but you see, some of these lines 7, 6 points. Lines going from 5-point line moves in this New England game. New England was a 2.5-point dog. Now they're 2.5-point favorite.
When I first moved to Las Vegas, Sean, the preseason game, if you saw a 3.5 in any preseason game, that was a big number.
Yes.
They were all 1.5, 2s, 3s, 3.5. Whoa. Now they're opening 6.5, some of these games 7. So,
I mean, the Bears.
I think they're telling you the personnel is not going to be available in those games.
And going back to those days where it was like 3.5s, those were important. Now though, you got the no tie, the go for 2 stuff.
Right.
So those are kind of like now it comes into play. You know what? Just do money line minus 130 or plus 130 or 140. Why get stuck in that winning by 1? They're not going to kick a field goal. They're not, they're not. A team might go for 2. At
they
that
don't
point,
have to anymore, Sean, because they don't play overtime in the preseason.
Yeah.
So they can kick that and end up with 17-17 where. Previously, they go for 2, make it or not. They were happy because the game would be over and they wouldn't have any overtime. But now they're guaranteed not to have any.
Exactly. And even if fact just go for 2, like why not go for 2? We could end it a tie, but let's go for 2 because we're gonna have to try it in the regular season anyway at one point.
Exactly.
So you have some teams that just go for 2 because let's just practice. Who cares? We're gonna go for 2.
Sean, I have a question, Sean. The new format they have for kickoffs. And you have to tell the other side if you're going to onside kick. Am I right? Now, that's sort of like being a pitcher and having to tell the batter you're going to throw a changeup, a curve, or a fastball. But my question to you is I'm trying to figure out where are they going to be placing these people? You can't be kicking off from the 35 and have your players 25 yards downfield and you're onside kicking. And they have to realign somewhere. Where are they going to realign? I don't know. I haven't seen that yet, and I'm really wondering how that's going to play out.
Listen, I saw it on the one kickoff, and I couldn't even watch the game. I'm like, this is
what are we terrible.
Doing? I mean, I get that they want some kind of kickoff action, or they want to save people from getting killed or whatever. And guys, well, who cares about kicking off? There's touchbacks anyway. I don't know. Guys run it out. I mean, if this is the case, just put the ball on the 25 or something and be like, all right, no kickoffs anymore. But there has to be, I don't like that. There's something about a kickoff return for a touchdown.
It's terrible. I think it's terrible. I really do.
Okay, onside kicks are next to impossible. I get it.
But how are they going to line up? They can't be lining up on the other team's 40 like they are right now. And onside kick it, they'd be recovering it. If they recovered it, they'd be recovering it inside the 20-yard line and have 15 yards for a touchdown. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
I,
I don't
I,
get
I
it.
like if you want to go for it on fourth or do an onside kick, you put the ball on your own 20, own 30, and make it like a 4th and 15 or something like that. Like it's a 4th and 20.
Yeah, I don't know why deal with any changes as it
Right?
is. I mean,
Like no, yeah. Well, listen, you got a bunch of people, COVID people sitting around, and then they start thinking and like, oh, let's do this instead to save some, then the wheels start turning, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, you can't have this. You're watching old video and like, this is terrible. Look at this guy. Well,
I don't see how there's going to be any big kickback returns. I don't see it. I mean, that was pretty exciting. I mean, Devin Hester. I mean, he gets the ball, he's going to score from anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
Now, they're all bunched in, and
no,
I don't like. Maybe I'll get used to it, and maybe I'll see the improvement and the reason down the line. But right now, I'm not happy.
I don't. I mean, how you running? He's running a kickoff back. That excitement has gone out of the window. When are they going to move that to punts? I think punts are more dangerous than a kickoff return.
Absolutely. Why don't they move the kickoff back to the 30 if they're going if they're worried about them?
Move the guys back because these guys can. You see guys kicking through the uprights into the stands.
Amazing.
Move that back.
Amazing.
Move it back.
Yep.
The punt. I can see guys getting mauled on a punt. That looks a lot more dangerous. I don't want to be a punt guy.
I think it's a lot. Like you said, I think a punt is a lot more dangerous.
And the onside kick again. It's so rare it gets done. I prefer, and not that I prefer it, but if you're going to switch crap up like that, make it a 4th and 20 from your own 30-yard line, right? Because
didn't Northwestern 2 years ago open the season against Nebraska with an onside kick, and they ended up took a 3-touchdown lead in the first half off of the impetus of that happening. You have to let the other team know that you're going to do that. I mean. Hey, I'm stealing third base. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me at all.
Listen, you and me both, my friend. I have no idea what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out when they went with the 7-inning doubleheaders for baseball one year, and we got a phantom man on second base. Do you see the stand? Nobody's coming to watch the games anyway, folks. I mean,
the Braves haven't scored any runs in regulation the last 2 days, and they come up with winners because in the 10th inning they're putting the man on second base and they're beating the Giants. Very fortunately for me, when Sale was pitching, that we pulled that game out. But they're getting 2-3 hits, and then you put a man on second base. It is so. I don't know. I don't think it's baseball at all.
Listen, the average baseball fan is probably older, right? We're old school. The young people don't like baseball. It's not boom, boom. Especially you're introducing betting to that. They're not going to the games. They don't care about the runner on second. Go back to the other way. You know what? What is their thought? It's long. Nobody wants to watch it.
Well, Sean,
they got sports betting
baseball,
now. People will watch it if they could bet every inning. So,
I'm just saying, if people want to like baseball, they ought to log on and get our picks, and then they'll like baseball a lot more because we've been doing pretty well with them.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, me and you both have nice little baseball seasons.
Yeah.
But for the fact they want to switch to bring people in, people are still not going to a lot of games. I mean, people go to games, but nothing. They're not bringing in youth because they're trying to speed up the game.
It's so expensive too. I mean, my goodness. $180 for a reserve seat in New York. I mean, that's in mezzanine as well.
We could talk about old school prices. They were nice. Yeah. I remember going to like 93, 94 Yankee games, first baseline, third baseline, first 20 rows. They were like $17.50 for the seats.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I used to write to the Mets and request box seats, $3.50 a piece, and you'd be right,
Yeah, we know what's going on. Who's watching the Mets at 62 anyway?
I mean, I'm not a beer drinker, but the beer's $18. I mean, give me a break.
Well, that's
please. Somebody's got to pay Aaron Judge. I mean, that's.
You're in Vegas. How about the prices that you go there for? You get a drink at a pool or something.
Outrageous! It's everything because the casinos have such a stronghold on the seating and everything else that goes on here. The price of tickets are just exorbitant. I mean, I'm going to the USC LSU game. I'll be at the Raider game this Saturday as well, but the tickets are very expensive here. And you know what? There's no scalpers anymore, Sean. You have to do electronically.
Because it's all, yes, there's no tickets. Everything's on your phone.
You're being charged $27, $28 per ticket on top of the going rate.
Listen, I went to a show the other night. I'm going to a show in October. Everything's on the phone. You got to download 5 different apps to get tickets. And then there's a parking. Like, I just want something. I want to print something out. Can I print out, just have it in my hand? Oh, no, you can't have that. Like, I don't want to also not get on my phone over.
I can't tell you how many
something
games
about. I still have movie ticket stubs from when I went out with, like, my wife at the time. I saved, like, all of our little stubs. I went out on a date. Right? I'm sure if I hunt – I don't know if I still can find some old Yankee subs from the 90s or a game in the 80s with my dad. You know, there was something about having that. It's like your first game.
I loved it.
I got a ticket stub for when I took my son to his first movie because we had stubs. It was a Star Wars movie we went to see or something. Like, now how do I do that? Oh, hey, look at a screenshot. Do you remember going to the movie with me when you were 4? You got to
take a picture of it on your phone? I mean.
Ridiculous.
Old man
rants. Old man rants at the end of the show today, folks.
In your pocket, and you'd be able to meet somebody and buy a ticket. And now there's such a fanfare. And, you know, I go to these games, and I have trouble downloading. Maybe a master's degree isn't strong enough. But I actually have to go to the stadium personnel to download the ticket and then use it. And they have to do this with thousands and thousands of people that are having difficulties downloading their tickets. It's boggling to me. I mean, there is no easy flow into the game anymore because people are struggling to get their ticket up on the phone.
Even when I go to, like, the minor league game, it's like I got to pull up a parking pass and I'm holding it, and then the screen's it's too dark because there's the sun, and I got to angle it. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'm not. Here's a ticket, please. Can we go back to tickets?
No,
save the trees, I guess. What are we doing here? All right. Listen, for all you old timers like me and Chip out there, make sure you hit the like button and comment. Do you like the tickets or do you like the freaking phone nonsense? I don't like the phone nonsense. Before the show, I showed Chip. I'm like, Chip, do you know who this is? He had no clue. That is Luke Skywalker from 1977. Like, yeah, you know, of course I want a ticket in my hand.
You know, Sean, I've been to 24 Super Bowls, and I had these big, beautiful hologram tickets.
Yes,
and I have some of them framed when the Giants. Now, like you said, having a stub in your hand. I mean, when I was a kid, I just stare at it, you know, and. It's gone. Part of nostalgia is gone.
No, you get season tickets in the mail, come in a box. You're like, oh, look at the season tickets are here. Look at this.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we don't have season tickets to sell you, but we can sell you season passes here. NFL $5.99, the rest of baseball for $3.49. Daily packs. That's what we sell here, or we just sell ourselves. If you don't want to do that, the least you could do is absolutely free. Is hit the like button, leave a comment. Ticket stubs or your phone app. What do you think? All right. If you stick around this long, probably about the 27-minute mark we got into this, the young people are probably like, what are they even talking about? Tickets? What are those? But there are tickets back in the day.
There used to be rotary phones.
Yeah, I love watching those things on TikTok where the kids got to figure out how to work.
They're trying to push the button
and turn the thing. They don't even know how it works. Like they're.
God bless America.
Over to 9 Dodgers for Chipper. Over 9 Dodgers Brew Crew. I'm like at Frisco minus the 112, 115 here. Over the Atlanta Braves. 2-0 yesterday. We're 4-1 from the week on the video. Let's keep it going here. 2 more winners. Over Dodgers. San Francisco Giants money line. Me and Chipper and Doug back tomorrow. Friday Live. Mark Lawrence making his debut here with me and Victor King. So that is going on Friday Live show. Chipper, I'll see you tomorrow with Mr. Upstone. Good luck in your plays today.
Thank you.
Everybody else, thanks for watching.